What if the one person you've trusted your whole life is also the one who could completely change it? Maya and Daniel were the definition of just best friends, the kind everyone envied, the kind that never got complicated. No drama. No confusion. Just years of laughter, secrets, and a bond that felt unbreakable. Until one rainy night, one confession, and one phone call turned everything upside down. Because in a single moment, love entered the picture. And so did a truth that threatened to destroy it before it even began. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more romantic stories. It had always been them, since scraped knees and playground arguments, since shared lunches and whispered secrets during boring classes. Everyone knew it. If you saw Maya, you saw Daniel. If you saw Daniel, Maya wouldn't be far behind. They were inseparable, but never complicated. Not like that. At least, that's what Maya told herself. Years passed, and life stretched them in different directions: university, work, dreams too big for their small hometown. Yet somehow, they always found their way back to each other. Late-night calls turned into weekend visits, and weekend visits turned into traditions neither of them dared to break. Still, nothing changed. Until it did. It was a rainy evening when everything shifted. The kind of rain that made the world feel quieter, softer, like it was holding its breath. They sat on the balcony of Daniel's apartment, legs tangled under a shared blanket, watching the city lights blur through the downpour. "You ever think," Daniel started, his voice quieter than usual, "that maybe we've been doing this wrong?" Maya laughed lightly. "Doing what wrong? Being best friends?" He didn't laugh back. Her smile faltered. "I mean, what if this, us, has always been something more?" The words hung in the air, heavier than the storm clouds above them. Maya's heart stuttered. She'd thought it before, late at night, when memories of his laughter replayed in her mind, or when his hand lingered just a second too long on hers. But she had buried it, afraid of what it might mean. Afraid of losing him. "Daniel," she whispered, not sure what she was about to say. "I'm serious," he said, turning to face her fully now. His eyes searched hers with a vulnerability she'd never seen before. "I think I've been in love with you for a long time." The world seemed to stop. The rain, the city, even her own breathing. She had imagined this moment 1,000 times, but now that it was real, it felt terrifying. Because if she said the wrong thing, everything could fall apart. "I don't want to lose you," she admitted softly. "You won't," he said quickly. "Not if you feel it too." And there it was, the question she could no longer avoid. Did she? Her heart knew the answer before her mind could catch up. It had always been him. Every laugh, every memory, every quiet moment, it had all been leading here. "I think," she began, her voice trembling, "I think I've been in love with you too." For a second, neither of them moved. Then Daniel smiled, a slow, disbelieving smile, and reached for her hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. But just as their fingers intertwined, Maya's phone buzzed loudly on the table beside her. She hesitated. "Ignore it," Daniel said gently. But something about the insistence of the vibration made her glance at the screen. Her expression changed instantly. "What is it?" Daniel asked, concern creeping into his voice. Maya swallowed hard, her hand slipping from his. It's the hospital." The rain suddenly felt colder. "They said my mom," her voice broke, "she's asking for me. It's urgent." Daniel stood immediately. "Then we go. Now." But Maya didn't move. Her eyes were still fixed on the phone, her face pale. "There's more," she whispered. Daniel's heart dropped. "What?" Maya looked up at him, fear and confusion swirling in her eyes. "They said, she's not my biological mother." The thunder cracked loudly across the sky. And Daniel froze. "Wait, what?" Maya shook her head, overwhelmed. I don't understand. They said there's someone else, someone who's been looking for me for years. Daniel took a step back, his mind racing. Did they say who? Maya hesitated, her voice barely audible now. Yes. Another beat of thunder echoed. She looked straight at him. They said, it's your father. And just like that. Everything they thought they knew about their lives, their past, and their future together. Shattered. The words didn't just hang in the air, they split it open. Daniel stared at Maya, searching her face for any sign this was a misunderstanding, a mistake, anything that made sense. That's not possible, he said quickly, almost too quickly. My dad would have told me. There's no way. Daniel, Maya cut in, her voice shaking, why would a hospital lie about something like that? He didn't answer. Because he couldn't. The rain poured harder now, drumming against the balcony like a countdown neither of them could stop. Let's just go, he said finally, grabbing his keys. We'll get answers there. The hospital felt too bright, too sterile, like reality itself had been stripped down to something cold and unforgiving. Maya's hands trembled as she pushed open the door to the private room. Inside, the woman she had called Mom all her life lay weak but awake, her eyes softening the moment they landed on Maya. You came, she whispered. Of course I came, Maya rushed to her side, gripping her hand. What's going on? They said, her voice broke, they said you're not my mother. The woman closed her eyes briefly, as if bracing herself. I am your mother, she said gently. Just, not by blood. The room fell silent. Daniel lingered near the door, his chest tight, already dreading what came next. I was never supposed to tell you, she continued. I wanted you to have a normal life. A happy one. Maya shook her head, tears spilling now. Then why now? Why tell me this now? Because he's back. Daniel stiffened. Maya's grip tightened. Who? The woman's gaze shifted, past Maya, to Daniel. My name is Richard Hale, a voice said from the doorway. Both of them turned. A man stood there, older, composed, but visibly shaken. His eyes were unmistakable. The same eyes Daniel saw every day in the mirror. Dad. Daniel breathed. The man stepped forward slowly, his gaze moving from Daniel to Maya. And hers, he said quietly. The world tilted. No, Daniel said, stepping back. No, that's not, this doesn't make sense. You're saying, what? That we're? Not related, Richard said quickly. Not the way you think. Maya's heart pounded. Then explain it. Richard ran a hand through his hair, struggling to find the words. Years ago, before Daniel was born, I was engaged to someone else. Maya's biological mother. We had a child, you, Maya. But things fell apart. There were complications, threats. I was told you wouldn't be safe if you stayed with me. He looked at the woman in the bed. She stepped in. Took you in as her own. And I stayed away, to protect you. Maya's breath came in uneven waves. You left me? I watched from a distance, he said, guilt heavy in his voice. Every birthday. Every milestone. I never stopped being your father. Daniel's mind raced, piecing it together. So, you're her father. But not mine, he said slowly. Richard nodded. I adopted you, Daniel, he said softly. You were just a baby. You needed a home. And I, his voice cracked, I needed a second chance. Silence swallowed the room. Maya looked at Daniel. Daniel looked at Maya. All the fear, all the confusion, the thing that had threatened to tear them apart. It wasn't what they thought. They weren't siblings. They never had been. But somehow, that didn't make things simpler. It made them heavier. More real. More final. Hours later, the rain had stopped. The world outside the hospital was quiet, washed clean. Maya and Daniel stood under a streetlight, the distance between them small, but filled with everything that had changed. "So," Daniel said, exhaling slowly, "we're not related." Maya let out a breath that almost sounded like a laugh. "That's one way to summarize it. But everything else," he added. "Your life. My life. Our families, it's all different now." She nodded. "Yeah. It is." A long pause stretched between them. Then Daniel stepped closer. "But one thing isn't," he said. Maya looked up at him. "What we said earlier, that wasn't a mistake." Her heart skipped. "No," she admitted. "It wasn't." He reached for her hand again. This time, she didn't pull away. "Then don't let this scare you off," he said quietly. "We've survived worse than the truth." Maya searched his eyes, the same eyes that had always felt like home. "Daniel, this changes everything." Or, he said softly, "maybe it just finally makes everything make sense." For a moment, she hesitated. Then, she stepped forward, closing the distance, resting her forehead against his. "From best friends," she whispered. He smiled. "To soulmates," he finished. And this time, when he kissed her, there were no interruptions. No unanswered questions. No doubts left between them. Just two people who had found their way through everything. And finally, undeniably, found each other.